On May 9th, 2014, a drunk man with a phone ended a $3 billion secret. R&B singer Tyrese Gibson posted a Facebook video celebrating with Dr. Dre. In it, Dre leaned into the camera and said, "The first billionaire in hip-hop, right here from the West Coast. Believe it." Tyrese captioned the video, "Tonight, hip-hop changed forever." Within hours, the post had over 12,000 likes. The problem was, the deal hadn't been announced yet. Apple's largest acquisition in company history had just been leaked by a man at a party. That cost Dr. Dre $200 million. But here's what nobody talks about. Even after losing $200 million in a single night, Dre still walked away with roughly $750 million before taxes. The critics spent years saying Beats headphones were overpriced fashion accessories. The German consumer group Stiftung Warentest tested the Beats Solo HD in April of 2014 and ranked them poorly compared to competitors. Audio engineers called them bass-heavy garbage, and they were not wrong. But Apple still paid $3 billion for them. That math doesn't make sense until you understand that Dr. Dre was never selling headphones. To understand this, we have to rewind to 2006. Not to a recording studio, to a conversation between two men who were furious about earbuds. Jimmy Iovine, the chairman of Interscope Geffen A&M Records, had been watching something that bothered him. Apple was selling $400 iPods bundled with $1 earbuds. Dre put it plainly to Iovine, "Man, it's one thing that people steal my music. It's another thing to destroy the feeling of what I've worked on." That sentence is the entire business plan. Dre had been considering launching a sneaker line. Iovine told him to do speakers instead. That pivot from sneakers to speakers is the moment Beats Electronics was born. Founded in Santa Monica, California, with a single thesis that sound quality was a luxury product, and luxury products command luxury prices. The machine they built over the next 8 years was not an audio company. It was a cultural placement engine disguised as a headphone brand. Iovine ran Interscope Records. That meant he had direct access to Lady Gaga, Nicki Minaj, Miley Cyrus, and almost every major pop act of that era. He did not pay for advertising. He placed Beats headphones in music videos. His own artists wore them. The headphones appeared on screen in front of audiences of tens of millions, and not one invoice for traditional media went out. By 2011, according to NPD Group data, Beats held 64% of the US premium headphone market, meaning every category above $100. 64%. From a brand that was 3 years old. That's not marketing. That's a distribution monopoly built inside the entertainment industry itself. But Iovine and Dre weren't just building a hardware business. They were watching the same numbers every label executive was trying to ignore. According to RIAA figures reported by Casier and NPR, U.S. digital music download revenue fell 1% to $2.8 billion in 2013. In that same year, music streaming revenue jumped 39% to $1.4 billion. Downloads were dying. Streaming was eating everything. Apple's iTunes model, which had saved the music industry a decade earlier, was becoming obsolete in real time. So, in July of 2012, Beats quietly acquired a streaming service called MOG for a reported $10 to $16 million. They rebuilt it, gave it a different philosophy, not algorithmic playlists, but human curation, real people picking music for real moods. They called the development project Daisy. On January 21st, 2014, it launched publicly as Beats Music. It was 4 months and 7 days old when Apple bought it. Spotify had launched in the US in 2011. By the time Apple Music went live in June of 2015, Spotify already had 22 million paying subscribers and 68 million free users. Apple was not just late to streaming. They were dangerously late. Tim Cook knew it. According to Trip Mickle's 2022 book After Steve, the 3 stated reasons Apple's SVP Eddie Q gave for pursuing Beats were, in order, the talent, meaning Iovine and Dre personally, then the streaming service, and then the headphones business. The hardware that critics mocked was listed third. Apple was not buying a headphone company. They were buying Jimmy Iovine's brain and Dre's cultural authority wrapped in a streaming infrastructure they could scale. In August of 2010, HTC had purchased 50.1% of Beats for $309 million, valuing the entire company at roughly $618 million. By September of 2013, the Carlyle Group invested $500 million and Beats hit a $1 billion valuation. The Carlyle Group would later profit an estimated $1 billion from the Apple sale alone. When Apple came in, they came in at $3.2 billion. Then Tyrese Gibson picked up his phone. At 2 in the morning on May 10, 2014, Jimmy Iovine received a call from Puff Daddy. According to Trip Mickle's book, Diddy was screaming. He told Iovine that Dre and Tyrese were on Facebook talking about the deal. Iovine had warned Dre before any of this. He had literally quoted the movie Goodfellas to him. Remember that scene where Jimmy tells the guys, "Don't buy any furs, don't buy any cars, don't get showy, don't move." Dre had agreed. Then Dre moved. Iovine and Dre were called to Apple headquarters in Cupertino. Tim Cook, by every account, did not yell. Trip Mickle wrote, "Instead of the anger and cursing that would have poured out of Jobs in a moment like that, Cook exuded calm. What Cook did instead was math. He cut $200 million from the agreed price. The final number became $3 billion even, $2.6 billion in cash and $400 million in Apple stock that vested over time." Dre would later call the Tyrese video one of the most embarrassing moments of his life in the 2017 HBO documentary, The Defiant Ones. The New York Post later reported that Beats Music had only 111,000 subscribers at the time of the sale, suggesting the price cut was really about weak streaming numbers. The book After Steve says Cook used the leak as negotiating leverage. Both things can be true at the same time. What is not disputed is that the deal closed in July of 2014, and Apple Music launched publicly on June 30th, 2015, at $9.99 per month in over 100 countries. In 6 months, Apple Music reached 10 million paid subscribers, the same number it took Spotify 6 years to build. By June of 2024, Apple Music had approximately 95 million subscribers globally. It holds roughly 31% of the US paid streaming market. Spotify holds approximately 32% worldwide. Beats Electronics still operates as an Apple subsidiary, competing directly with Bose, Sony, and Sennheiser. The Beats hardware business alone generates over $1 billion annually in revenue. Apple's largest acquisition in company history, and it's not close, is still this deal. Dre's stake, roughly 25% at the time of the sale, translated to approximately $750 million before taxes. He received around $100 million worth of Apple stock on top of that. He donated $70 million to the USC Iovine and Young Academy in 2013, $10 million to Compton Unified School District in 2017, and his real estate portfolio is estimated at approximately $80 million. In 2023 and 2024, he sold a portion of his music catalog to Shamrock Holdings and Universal Music Group for approximately $200 million. Jay-Z, not Dre, became hip-hop's first confirmed billionaire. Forbes confirmed it in 2019. If the Tyrese video had never gone up, if $200 million had stayed in the deal, the math suggests Dre crosses that line first. One video, one drunk phone call, $1 billion title gone. But this is where most people miss the larger point. Dr. Dre did not win $3 billion because he made great headphones. He won because he understood that in the music industry of the 2000s, the gatekeeper wasn't the label or the radio station or the retailer. The gatekeeper was the hardware sitting on your ears. He and Iovine built a brand that owned the physical connection between music and the listener, then sold that connection to the only company in the world whose entire identity depended on making that connection feel premium. Apple didn't buy Beats. Apple bought the problem Dre identified standing in front of a pile of cheap white earbuds in 2006. They paid $3 billion for the anger in that original complaint. It's one thing to steal my music. It's another thing to destroy the feeling. That feeling is now worth 95 million subscribers and counting. You either own the pipe the music flows through, or you are just another artist hoping someone else's pipe treats you fairly. Dre stopped being an artist the day Iovine told him to make speakers. Everything after that was just construction.